The Hoshiyamas are at their son's home in Los Angeles and are discussing how to spend the day.
Masai is coming home tonight, but shall we go somewhere today anyway?
How about Disneyland?
That'll make the children happy.
Don't they go to school?
No, school's out for summer vacation now.
Oh, yes, I've heard that children in America have a much longer summer vacation.
Later, in the car, on their way to Disneyland.
I read in the paper that you have a Disneyland somewhere near Tokyo now.
Yes, they built it on reclaimed land.
Really?
Is your Disneyland like ours?
They say it's a faithful replica of yours.
Oh, I want to go there. Anytime you come to Japan. I'm coming for sure.
Later, at the gate to Disneyland.
Excuse me, what's the admission, please?
Admission is $20.
What does that include?
This pass entitles you to go on all the rides and visit all the attractions. What about children? Under 16, $15.
All right. 2 children and 3 adults, please.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you. I'm sure we will.
Inside, at Adventureland, as they go on a boat.
Now we'll take you through the jungle. Watch out for wild animals. Last week, we lost 3 passengers here.
A little later.
Oh, there's so many crocodiles. Don't worry, Grandma. They're not real. Look, there are elephants over there.
They look so much like real ones.
Why do they have such big trunks, Grandpa?
Because they have come all the way from Africa, you know.
Business in today's world. Obsolete. Today we find Mr. Goldberg back in the States. A business associate is visiting his office.
Hello, Angela. What can I do for you?
Hello, Hugh. How was your trip to Japan?
Great. I got a good picture of what they're doing in both factory and office automation.
Did you pick up any new ideas?
Yes, I did. I was very impressed.
Were you? By the way, why are all your stuff clustered together in the next room?
Actually, we've just bought a new computer for the office, and everyone is eager to learn how to use it.
So that's what they're doing.
I'm trying to modernize our office system.
Well, you certainly don't waste any time. You've just returned from Tokyo, and you've already started things moving.
Shall we go to lunch now?
Yes, let's. In a few minutes, there is a call to Mr. Goldberg's office. Linda, his secretary, answers the phone. Mr. Goldberg's office.
This is Roger Palmer of JRC Tokyo. May I speak to Mr. Goldberg?
He's not in at the moment, Mr. Palmer. He's expected back around 2 o'clock New York time.
Oh, I see. Then I'll call again tomorrow.
Meanwhile, Conrad, who's been assigned to program the computer, looks glum.
What's eating you, Conrad? Had a fight with your computer?
You might say that.
Come on, Conrad. It can't be that bad.
That's what you think. Remember the assignment Mr. Goldberg gave me last week?
You mean to program the computer to economize office operations?
Right.
So why does that depress you?
The computer decided I was obsolete. Another look at Japan. Thing for catastrophe. One morning, Kevin wakes up with a bad toothache. At the breakfast table...
Good morning.
How are you feeling? Is anything the matter?
Yes, I have a terrible toothache.
That's too bad. I'll call the dentist and make an appointment for you right away.
Would you please? I'd really appreciate it.
Later, at the dentist's office.
What seems to be the problem, Doctor?
Well, there's a crooked wisdom tooth with a cavity in it.
Must I have it taken out?
Yes, but the gum around it is inflamed, so we have to get rid of the inflammation first. Take this medicine and come again tomorrow. You may brush gently, but no dental floss.
Okay.
That evening, at the Kubota...
Does it still hurt?
Yes, a little. But it's much better, thank you. Can I ask you something about health insurance in Japan?
Sure. In fact, I was just about to mention that to you. You can apply for national health insurance.
How long do I have to be in Japan to qualify for it?
I'm afraid I can't say offhand. Let me find out.
What does it cover?
All expenses for recognized illnesses. Only the initial fee of 800 yen has to be paid.
How much does that insurance cost?
It varies according to your income. Let me check on that, too.
This conversation is kind of depressing. I always think insurance is something like paying for catastrophe on the installment plan.
Well, things still aren't quite settled between Mr. Goldberg and JRC. The estimate for all the new equipment is higher than expected. Linda is watching the office while Mr. Goldberg is tied up on the phone, and she has to deal with a man from an ad agency.
Okay, so everybody, let's rejoin our business associates on pages 48 and 49. Here we go.
Business in today's world. A busy morning. One morning at Mr. Goldberg's office.
Okay, I think we are all ready to have Conrad demonstrate how to use this computer.
First of all, I'd like to assure you that it's not as complicated as it appears. Programs are stored on these disks. To recall an item, all you have to do is insert the disk, push these buttons, and the computer will draw it from its memory.
Seems simple enough.
A little later, there's a call from Mr. Goldberg from Mr. Palmer of JRC.
Yes, I received your estimate worked out on the basis of our specifications, Mr. Palmer.
Good. We did our best to make it as reasonable as possible.
I suppose the problem is to get your reasonable and our reasonable to mean the same thing. Frankly, I thought your estimate a little high.
Oh, really? I'm surprised to hear that.
We're very impressed by your equipment, but your prices don't seem to be as competitive as they should be.
I think you're right in terms of initial outlay. However, if you consider the flexibility of our machines, I think you'll find our prices are not out of line.
Of course, you have a point.
Anyway, let's leave this open to negotiation. I'll go over the figures again.
All right, I'll be looking forward to hearing from you.
In the next room, Linda, Mr. Goldberg's secretary, is talking with a man from an advertising agency.
I'm sorry, but Mr. Goldberg is tied up on the phone at the moment. Would you like to have a seat and wait here?
Thank you. By the way, do you know how quickly our advertisements bring results?
No, I can't say that I do.
A company advertised for a night watchman, and that night, their safe was robbed.
The Drinkwater's Diary. A little troublemaker. Early one Sunday morning at the Drinkwaters.
What time did you say Laura and Bob were coming today, dear?
About 10, they said they'd be visiting Reverend Smith in the afternoon.
We'd better hurry and clean up the house then. We don't have much time. By the way, will you check the kitchen faucet? It still leaks.
Not the faucet again. It's such a bother. Well, I'll see what I can do.
Shall I help you?
Oh, that's all right. I can manage. Why don't you help Mom vacuum instead?
All right. I'm glad Susie's still in bed. She's always a troublemaker. You know what she did last Tuesday?
No, and I don't think I want to.
She told Mary Ellen that I really liked her a lot, but that I was too shy to ask her out.
Well, it's true, isn't it?
Dad!
Meanwhile, Susie passes by Keith's room, and...
Can I come in?
Sure, but don't touch anything, okay?
Okay, what are you making?
A maze for my hamster.
Can I help?
No, you can't. This is very important. The science fair's coming up, and this is going to be my exhibition.
Really? Can I feed the hamster?
I'm sorry, but no. If we overfeed him, it'll ruin my experiment. Don't touch it. I told you before. Why don't you go someplace else and find something for yourself to do?
I was only trying to help.
A little later, in the laundry room,
Help! Somebody help!
Lord, what have you done, child?
I thought I would help by washing some clothes.
What did you do? Put the whole box of detergent in?
No, but a lot. I thought that would make the clothes extra clean. I didn't know the washer would overflow.
Susie, what are we going to do with you? A trip with Grandma and Grandpa. Paging Mr. and Mrs. Hoshiyama. The Hoshiyamas have flown on to London. At the airport, as they pass through immigration,
May I see your passport, please? Thank you. How long are you going to stay, sir?
Not more than 2 weeks.
What's the purpose of your visit, may I ask?
Just sightseeing.
Is this where you're staying?
yes, we're staying with a friend of ours.
Isn't your friend on the phone?
I beg your pardon?
Write his phone number here.
Oh, all right.
Thank you. Enjoy your stay.
Later, at the bus stop,
Full aboard, please. Heading for downtown London.
Excuse me, is this the right bus to Cromwell Road?
That's right. Put your luggage there.
What's the fare, please?
£2.50 each. I'll come round and collect it later. Hurry up, please. We're leaving. Would you mind moving along a bit? Thank you.
after getting off the bus,
Excuse me. Yes? Could you tell me how to make a call on this phone? I think I tried it as instructed here, but I couldn't get through.
Just pick up the receiver, dial the number, and put in a coin when you hear the pips and the other party answers.
Actually, I did exactly what you said, but I was immediately disconnected.
Then you'd better try your luck on another one. It may be out of order.
Oh, all right. Thank you.
meanwhile, Mr. and Mrs. Whitney, friends of the Hoshiyamas, are looking for them at the airport. At information,
May I have some friends of mine paged?
certainly, sir. Would you put the name down here?
Yes, of course. Here you are. It's pronounced Hoshiyama.
One moment, please. Paging Mr. and Mrs. Hoshiyama. Paging Mr. and Mrs. Hoshiyama. Please contact the information desk. Thank you. Another look at Japan. Leisure time with Kevin. One evening, Kevin takes Akemi out to see an American play. At the reception desk, good evening. Do you have reservations?
Yes. The name is Wallace. 2 tickets.
Here you are, row E, seats 17 and 18. The curtain goes up at 7:45. Till then, you may have drinks from the bar. Have a nice evening.
Thank you. Would you like something to drink, Akemi?
Yes, some white wine, please. After finding their seats,
They're doing Neil Simon's Plaza Suite.
it's supposed to be very funny, isn't it?
Yes, it's a comedy.
I'm afraid I won't be able to understand.
Some of the lines may be a little difficult for you to catch, but I'm sure you'll understand the main idea. Oh, the curtain's going up.
After the play, that was terrific.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I sure did. Thank you for bringing me. The following morning, at breakfast.
There's something I was going to ask. Last Monday was a national holiday, wasn't it? What's special about that day?
Oh, you mean October 10th? That's called Health Sports Day. The opening ceremony of the 1964 Tokyo Olympic Games was held on that date.
The idea of it is to promote health through sports.
Oh, I see. That's why there were so many sports events going on.
I took part in our club tennis tournament, but I lost. I'm going to practice this afternoon. Would you like to join me?
I sure would. I want to practice my backhand.
I must work on my serve. I never seem to make the ball go where I want it to.
Mr. Kubota, do you ever play tennis?
I used to, but I gave it up. I'm afraid my arm was just like an ill-bred child.
What do you mean?
It never did what it was told.
Business in today's world. Flat on its back. Early Monday morning, Mr. Kondo receives a phone call at home.
Hello. This is Roger Palmer from JRC.
Oh, good morning, Roger.
Good morning, Mr. Kondo. I'm sorry to call you at home like this, but it's rather urgent, and I wanted to get hold of you before you left.
That's quite all right. What's up, Roger?
It's about today's meeting. I'm afraid we may have trouble getting a quorum, so please be sure to attend.
Oh, don't worry. I'll definitely be there.
Later, at the meeting,
Will the meeting please come to order? With your permission, in order to save time, could we dispense with the reading of the minutes?
I so move.
I second the motion.
All those who are in favour, say aye.
Aye.
All those against, nay.
Nay.
Thank you. The ayes have it. The first item of old business is to continue our discussion of the Canadian market.
suddenly, Mr. Kondo is called out of the room. Back in his office.
Who did you say was on the phone, Kathy?
Jackie. It's a collect call from Canada.
Oh, is it? Hello?
There's a collect call from Jackie Robinson. Will you accept the charge?
Yes, I will.
Go ahead, ma'am. Ma'am, please go ahead. Hello, Mr. Kondo.
Hi, Jackie. How are you doing? I've just stepped out of a meeting to take your call. Actually, we're in the middle of discussing our future projects in Canada.
Oh, really? I'm calling to ask if I can stay here a little longer. Canada's such a huge country that where I've been for market research is just the tip of the iceberg.
Yes, of course. I'll leave it to your discretion. How's business on the other side of the globe?
Well, I should say it's looking up, flat on its back.
The Drinkwater's diary. Not old enough. One Saturday afternoon, the Drinkwaters are having a barbecue in their backyard.
Can I help you, Mum?
Yes. You make sure that Spot doesn't cause any trouble.
Okay. Come on, Spot. Sit. Lie down. That's a good dog. Stay put.
Shall I light the coals, Dad?
Yes, otherwise they won't be ready by the time Mom brings the food out. Let's see. Do I have everything I need? The fork, the spatula, the tongs. Oh, we need more charcoal. Keith, will you go get another bag from the garage?
Sure, anything else?
Maybe a pair of gloves. I left them on my workbench. Susie, don't get near the grill. You might get burned.
I'll be careful.
Even so, you stay away from that grill.
A little later,
That was so good.
I can't finish everything. I took too much.
Your eyes are always bigger than your stomach, aren't they?
You can say that again.
Don't pick on me.
Well, you asked for it.
now that's enough. Meanwhile, Spot gets into trouble.
Oh, no. Spot turned over the food. Look, my new skirt is all dirty.
Did you walk him this morning?
No, I didn't. I thought Keith was going to.
Don't blame it on me. You know that's your responsibility.
Anyway, that's why he's restless. You'd better take him for a walk now. Then I'm sure he'll behave himself.
A little later, as Susie is walking Spot, a policeman stops her.
Excuse me, young lady. Has your dog got a license?
Oh, no. He's not old enough to drive.
A trip with Grandma and Grandpa. Meeting in London. Mr. and Mrs. Whitney give up meeting the Hoshiyamas at the airport and go to their hotel.
There you are. Welcome to London. Actually, we went to the airport, but we didn't find you, so we came here.
Oh, I'm
sorry. We thought we'd meet you at the air terminal, but we found it had closed.
Anyway, we're delighted to see you again.
Thank you. It's wonderful seeing you, too.
Did you have a nice flight?
Yes, very. It was so smooth that we slept most of the time.
Good. If you're not too tired, may I suggest we go to Hyde Park Corner?
Fine. Is something special happening there today?
Yes, the famous classic car race from London to Brighton is today, and that's where it starts from.
What a coincidence.
If we go straight there now, we can see them start.
Oh, I'd love to see it.
As a matter of fact, my nephew's taking part in it, and we really want to see him.
A little later, as they arrive at Hyde Park Corner...
Looks like they're just leaving.
Yes. Oh, look at John coming up right behind that huge green car.
Give it your best, boy.
Later, after coming home...
That was certainly a colorful race. I've never seen anything like that before.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Please make yourself at home. How about a cup of tea?
Oh, that would be nice. You certainly have a lovely home.
Oh, thank you. Actually, we just bought some new furniture. I wish we'd been able to afford some real antiques.
Don't worry, dear. By the time we've paid for all this, we shall certainly be the proud owners of genuine antiques.
Ace.
The ups and downs of business.
At the moment, it's mostly down. The problem is to get it back up.
Okay, would you like to turn to page 48? Please follow along first.
Business in today's world. Economizing. One afternoon in Mr. Goldberg's office, Mr. Clifford, an accountant, is briefing the staff on the latest financial report.
Now let me conclude by asking if there are any questions.
To sum up what you've just said, the capital expenditure we made when we bought that land for the new plant has put the company in a difficult position.
To be blunt, yes. In the foreseeable future, it's going to be essential to economize in every way possible.
I see.
Well, I want to say right here and now that I'm dead set against purchasing equipment which would make some workers' jobs obsolete.
But if the business keeps showing a deficit and eventually goes bankrupt, what happens then?
So what concerns us all is how to make our products competitive in the marketplace.
And how to keep the company in the black.
Easy to say, but hard to do.
Later that day,
Linda, will we get the staff together? I have something to say to them.
Certainly.
after a little while,
as you all know, it's especially important at this time to be as frugal as possible. I'm asking each of you to think about how you can increase your own productivity and further the efficiency of the company in general. Please give this matter your careful consideration.
a few weeks later in the company cafeteria,
The boss has been so hard-nosed lately, hasn't he?
Has he ever?
meanwhile in Mr. Goldberg's office,
Incidentally, how much interest is there on this loan per day?
Well, let me figure it out.
Oh, let's not bother. After all, I've decided to put off this loan till the winter time.
Why till the winter time?
Because the days are shorter then, you know.
The Drinkwater's Diary. 2 cows. This week we find Susie and Keith staying at their uncle's dairy farm. In the morning, after breakfast...
Now, kids, what would you like to do this morning?
I'd like to ride on a tractor and have a ride in the plane.
That's just what I thought you'd want to do. What about you, Susie?
I want to help feed the calves.
Okay, let's go.
You better be warmly dressed. It's terribly cold out there. Later, in the barn...
Look at that youngest calf over there. Isn't she beautiful?
Oh, how cute. Can I touch her?
Sure.
How old is she?
She was born last Sunday. She's just beginning to learn how to drink milk from the pail. But she's still very clumsy. Susie, why don't you put this milk in that pail?
Okay. Don't spill it. Oh, no! You turned over the pail.
Just then, Aunt Marion rushes in.
What's up, honey?
There are several steers out on the road again.
Oh, that's why Sally's barking. Those steers sure are a pain in the neck.
Uncle George, what exactly is a steer?
Oh, it's a castrated male ox, usually raised for beef. Do you want to come and see them?
Yes, I do.
Okay, let's go and see how Sally herds them into the pasture. I'm sure you'll get a big kick out of it.
Later, back in the barn.
This is where we milk the cows. As you see, there are 10 cows being milked at a time.
But I don't see any milk. Where does it go?
It goes through these tubes into that huge tank. It'll be used to make cheese, butter, and other dairy products.
Susie, can you name 4 things with milk in them?
Sure. Ice cream, cheesecake, and 2 cows.
A trip with Grandma and Grandpa. To your health. With Christmas drawing near, Mrs. Whitney would like to buy some gifts.
Christmas is just around the corner and I haven't done a thing. I really should go shopping today.
Don't fret, dear. There's still time. Actually, I had a word with Mr. Hoshiyama last night, and he said they'd like to do some shopping. Why don't we all go today?
Lovely. That'll kill 2 birds with 1 stone. We can show them round as we shop.
Later, out on a busy London street.
Oh, what beautiful Christmas decorations.
We're on Regent Street. There are quite a few unique shops along this street.
We're on the way to London's most famous toy shop. It has the largest selection.
That's where we should go, all right.
We have 2 grandsons and 3 granddaughters. We really have to rack our brains to choose just the right gift for each one.
Later, they continue their shopping tour on a bus.
5 upstairs, 3 inside.
Let's go up.
Sir, please go inside.
Can't I stand here?
No, you can't. It's against regulation.
It's a good thing we're upstairs. You can get a better view this way. Oh, there's the famous Statue of Eros.
And this is the best place in central London to see billboards and neon signs. Elsewhere, they're considered eyesores.
Later, they end their day at a pub overlooking the Thames.
If we're lucky, we may be able to see some salmon coming up the river to spawn.
Oh, yes. I read in the paper about the salmon returning to the Thames.
What would you like to drink, dear?
A half a bitter, please.
A little later,
Cheers. And to your health.
We drink to our health, but no doctor recommends it.
Now, another look at Japan. I'll never get there. This week we'll accompany Kevin as he explores Japan's ancient capital Nara with Haruki and Akemi.
Oh, there's so many deer crowding round us.
I'll go get some food to feed them.
Kevin, why don't you stand by those deer? I'll take a picture.
Okay. Here?
No, not there. Turn round to face the sun. That's good. Ready?
Yes, this is my best side.
Akemi comes back, and...
Now, I'll show you how to feed them. If you hold a cracker up like this, they'll come closer and start bowing. You see?
Oh, yeah, they sure are. Do deer have some special meaning here?
Yes, they do. They're regarded as divine messengers.
Are they?
So they are very well protected.
And well-mannered, too.
Later, as they're walking around the famous pond,
What was the name of this pond?
Sarasawa no Ike, or Sarasawa Pond.
The reflection of the pagoda in the water is very beautiful.
It sure is.
Let's walk around it and go up those stairs. That'll take us right into the cloister of Kofukuji Temple.
a little later.
So this is the famous 5-story pagoda.
Later, in front of the great Buddha in Todaiji Temple.
It's huge. It's really unbelievable.
Look at that hole in the pillar, Kevin. It shows how large one of the Buddha's nostrils is.
It's really big, isn't it?
Some people think that if you can crawl through it, you can enter paradise.
I'm afraid I'll never get there.
Business in today's world. Welcome back. Today we find Mr. Condor talking with Roger and Jackie in his office.
Welcome back, Jackie.
Yes, it's good to have you back.
Thank you.
How was your trip? Did you do everything you'd planned to do?
Almost, yes. I found the trip very informative and rewarding.
I'm glad to hear that.
I'm looking forward to reading your report. How soon do you think you can have it ready?
In about a week.
Just then, Kathy walks in.
Excuse me. Oh, hi, Kathy. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you. It's so good to see you again, Jackie. Actually, there's a call for you. It's a Mr. Yoshio Tada from Customs.
Mr. Tada? That name doesn't ring a bell. I wonder what he wants to talk to me about.
I don't know. He said he'd like to talk directly to you.
Okay, I'll get it. Excuse me. Hello?
Hello? Is this Jackie Robinson?
Yes, this is she.
This is Yoshio Tada from the local customs office. We have some unaccompanied baggage addressed to you from Canada. I'd like you to come to our office at your earliest convenience to clear it.
Oh, I see.
Please make sure you bring the customs declaration form authorized at Narita.
I will. Thank you for calling.
Later in the day, Jackie's in her office working on her report.
Oh, it seems like I'll never finish this.
Anything I can do for you?
Thank you, Mariko. I'm going to dictate it first, so will you help type it later?
Sure, I'll be happy to.
The trouble is that there are so many statistics I have to include.
Oh, don't let that worry you too much. You know, Mark Twain once said that there are 3 types of lies in life. Lies, damned lies, and statistics.
The Drinkwater's Diary. It's IT. Susie and Keith are still at their uncle's dairy farm. One morning, as Uncle George is about to leave the house...
Are you going to dehorn the bulls today, dear?
Yes, I really think I should. Some are getting out of hand.
Kids, would you like to see the dehorning? The what? Dehorning. Cutting the bull's horns off.
Yeah, I sure would.
And after that, we'll go for a ride in the plane.
Can we really?
In the barn...
Let's feed these calves first. I know they're hungry.
This is fun. Boy, he's hungry.
Uncle George, what are those tags on their ears?
The green ones mean that insecticide has been put on them.
Why? I don't understand.
Well, we want to protect them from flies and other insects.
What about the yellow tags?
They tell who their mothers are.
Later in the day, after finishing their chores...
Okay, let's go for a plane ride.
But where's the plane, Uncle George?
Oh, it's kept in the hangar by the airstrip.
I'll drive you down. Hop in the car. It's only a 10-minute drive.
In a few minutes, at the airstrip...
Oh, what a neat plane. Can we really ride in it?
You sure can. Let me sit next to the pilot.
After taking off,
Now we're flying over our farm. You can have a good bird's eye view.
You see the silo, the barn, the cattle, and our house down there?
They look like toys.
Sometime later,
Now here comes America's longest river.
The Mississippi.
You know how to spell it?
Sure. Mississippi.
No, that's wrong. It's I-T.
a trip with Grandma and Grandpa, a visit to Windsor. Today, the Hoshiyamas and their friends, the Whitneys, are spending the day in Windsor. On their way in the car,
You seem to have a lot of traffic circles here. Is this what you call a roundabout?
Yes, it is. To cross it, we must give way to any car coming from the right and keep circling clockwise.
Looks like it helps considerably to smooth the flow of traffic.
Yes, it does.
We're on the M4.
We're on what, did you say?
I said the M4, Motorway 4, which runs between London and Cardiff.
How far is Windsor from London?
Only 25 miles, so we'll be arriving in about half an hour.
Later,
Look! Windsor Castle's coming into view.
Oh, yes. It's beautiful. It looks just like its picture.
as they arrive,
Here we are. This is the Henry VIII Gateway, and this is where we go in.
And the tower right ahead of us is called the Round Tower. Let's go to the other side of the tower first.
later in an exhibition room,
Oh, what charming dolls and furniture. This is the famous doll collection of Queen Mary. Everything is 1/12 of the actual size.
They say it took hundreds of craftsmen to complete it.
I would imagine so.
after a little while outside,
Oh, what a lovely view.
Yes. On the other side of the river is Eton, home of the famous Eton College, the largest of the public boarding schools in England.
It must be difficult to get into.
Yes, the competition's cutthroat.
This scene reminds me of that famous remark. The Battle of Waterloo was won on the playing fields of Eton.
another look at Japan. In the spring. This week, Kevin is visiting a famous hot spring resort in Kyushu. An old friend of his, Stomu, meets him at the airport.
Welcome, Toyota. Good to see you again, Kevin.
Hi, it's Tomu. Good to see you again, too. How's the world been treating you?
Oh, I can't complain. Listen, let's drive to Beppu where my house is. The car's this way.
Thanks. I didn't think it would be this cold in Kyushu.
Don't worry. There are plenty of hot springs to keep us warm.
Later, as they visit the famous boiling ponds in the outskirts of Beppu,
Watch your step, Kevin. If you fall, you'll get burned.
Why is the water so reddish?
That's because of its vermilion mud. There's a lot of iron in it. Since it has a blood-like appearance, we call it Blood Pond Hell.
How hot is it?
They say about 80 degrees centigrade. So in Fahrenheit, well, over 150 degrees.
That's hot enough to be called hell, all right.
as they're walking around,
Why are there so many hot springs in Japan, I wonder?
Probably the main reason is that there are a lot of volcanoes. We have 2 volcanoes right in this area, Mount Surumi and Mount Yufu. Well, shall we drive on to the other side of those mountains?
Yes, let's.
I know a place where you can have a bath outside in a hot spring.
Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun.
later as they pass by a local public hot spring,
It's time for us to warm up, Kevin. This is a hot spring open to the public.
Is it?
Let's go in and have a quick bath, shall we?
Sounds good. To tell you the truth, I'm kind of cold.
a little later,
Wow. It's hot, but a great feeling. This is the first time in my life that I've done anything like this. Here in the spring.
It's not spring. It's winter, isn't it?
The Drinkwater's Diary, an ice cream sandwich. This week we find the Drinkwaters spending their weekend at Epcot Center in Florida.
Look at the famous spaceship Earth ahead.
At last, we're at Epcot Center.
What does Epcot stand for, did you say, Dad?
It's an acronym. It stands for Environmental Prototype Community of Tomorrow.
I think Susie will like the Magic Kingdom better. That's a large amusement park with lots of rides in it.
As they buy tickets,
Excuse me, can you tell me what we can do with a world passport?
Sure. It includes your admission, plus you can visit whatever you like in both the Magic Kingdom and Epcot Center. There's so much to do that it takes at least 3 or 4 days to do everything.
Shall we buy the 3-day pass then?
Looks like the best idea.
All right. 3 adults, 1 junior, and 1 child, please.
inside,
Gosh, Daddy, this is so neat.
It's really big. I read that it's twice as large as Manhattan Island in New York.
Well, where shall we go first?
Any place is fine with me.
On the other side of this lake is World Showcase. Let's go there. 9 countries have all kinds of shows and different attractions and restaurants. And there are shops for you, Mom.
Oh, I want to buy something.
later,
Can I get something to eat, Mom? I'm hungry.
You've had too many treats already. Wait till we find a place to buy some sandwiches. Then we'll have lunch.
Okay.
a little later, Susie gets some ice cream from a stand.
Susie, is that what you call a sandwich?
Yes. Even the ice cream man said it's an ice cream sandwich.
A trip with Grandma and Grandpa. It loves me. Leaving London, the Hoshiyamas travel to Paris and meet their friend, Mr. Pascal. In a subway, on their way to the Louvre,
This is our stop. Let's get off here.
Oh, the whole platform looks like part of a museum.
Yes, those exhibitions seem like an invitation to go on into the museum.
If you feel that way, they serve their purpose.
later, inside,
Where is the Mona Lisa, Mr. Pascal? I'd like to see her first.
I can't think of a better way to begin your visit. Let's go this way.
in a few minutes,
Here she is.
This is exactly what I've wanted to see for a long time. There's a lovely mystery about her.
Her smile really is enigmatic. I wonder what it means.
just then a stranger speaks to them.
Excuse me, are you from America?
No, we're from Japan, but we can speak English.
Oh, what a nice feeling to hear a language that we understand.
We've been here only about 2 weeks, but we haven't talked to anybody but each other.
We've been trying to manage in our poor French, but we haven't been doing very well.
You needn't apologize. Just keep trying. That's the point.
As they leave the museum,
I hope we'll have time to come back again.
I don't understand why walking around a museum makes me so hungry.
I know what you mean. There's a very nice restaurant near here. Shall we go?
Are you sure you aren't busy?
I wouldn't be busy while you're visiting Paris. It's my pleasure to show you around.
Then we accept. I love French food, but I'm afraid it loves me too. Another look at Japan. Closed. Kevin is on his way back from Kyushu. He's stopping at Hagi in Yamaguchi Prefecture. He decides to drop in at a coffee house.
Excuse me. Do you speak English?
Yes, a little.
My name is Kevin Wallace. Nice to meet you.
Mine's Yoko Hata.
Nice to meet you, too. Are you from America?
Yes. I'm from Springfield, Illinois.
That's Lincoln's town, isn't it?
Yes. And it's also the state capital.
Are you sightseeing?
Yes. I'm very interested in folk pottery.
Oh, are you? I'm just on my way to a potter's.
Really? Do you mind if I come along with you?
Not at all. It'll be fun to go together.
Just then, a waitress comes round.
Would you like another cup of coffee?
No, that's okay.
Oh, come on. I was going to have another one anyway. これ2つください.
At the potter's.
This is the first time I've ever seen a potter working.
Oh, really?
What's that wheel called in Japanese?
It's called Gokuro.
Oh, he's finished. Is he going to put it in the kiln next?
No, he let it dry first, and then put it in the kiln for the first baking. Then it's taken out for glazing. If you want to glaze something, he might let us.
I hope so.
Later, as they're visiting some places of interest in town.
This is the famous Shoka Sonjuku.
Juku? Was it a preparatory school?
Not like the ones kids go to these days. In the mid-19th century, it was a well-known private school. Japan's first prime minister, Hirobumi Ito, studied there.
Looks like it was a nice school. You must have liked it.
How did you like your school, Kevin?
Oh, I liked it best closed.
Paul's year with the Yoshidas. Alphabet soup. One afternoon, the phone rings at the Yoshidas.
Mishmushi.
Hello. Is this the Yoshida residence?
Yes, it is. This is Mrs. Yoshida speaking. Is this Paul?
Yes, it is. I've just arrived at the air terminal downtown.
Welcome to Japan. Isn't Mr. Yoshida there?
No, I don't think so. At least I haven't been able to find him.
Don't worry, Paul. I'm sure he'll be there soon.
A few minutes later, at the terminal...
Ah, you must be Paul. Our car broke down and it's still in the garage, so I had to take a taxi. I'm awfully sorry I'm late.
That's all right.